Hello everyone. In the previous video, we learned about the variables and data type. In this video, we are going to learn about operators, which is another useful concept of Python. So what are operators? If I want to say in a simple term, an operator is nothing but a symbol that represents a mathematical or a logical task. Suppose you want to add two numbers, 3 and 5. Then how will you make sure that Python understands that you want to add these numbers? So the symbol here, as you see on the screen, that you use in between these two numbers is known as an operator. And the values on which you want to perform this operation of addition are the numbers 3 and 5 are known as operands. So this is how a Python program is able to understand that you are trying to perform this addition operation on two digits, which are 3 and 5. So there can be multiple tasks like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. And each of them have a separate symbol. Now, there are multiple mathematical and logical operations that you can perform on data, and that's why there are multiple kinds of operators in Python. So first of all, you have the arithmetic operators, then you have the comparison operators, and then you also have the logical operators. Let's look at each of these operators in more detail. So arithmetic operators, as the name suggests, are actually operators that help you solve arithmetic tasks. For example, you would like to add a couple of numbers using the plus symbol, and then you can subtract, multiply, divide numbers using the minus symbol, asterisk, and the slash symbol. Now the division part is interesting because in Python it supports more than one kind of division. So the first one is the normal division that we are used to since the high school days, which is 5 divided by 3 gives a decimal value of 1.67. There is another kind of division which is known as modulo division or remainder. So in this case, we are not interested in finding the quotient of division, but we are actually interested in finding the remainder. So when you divide 5 by 3, what is the remainder? Which is 2. And the last kind of division is pretty interesting, which is floor division. So this basically does nothing, but in the quotient, it ignores the decimal value. So if you divide 5 by 3, you get 1.67. And if you do 5 by 3 by a floor division, it will just give you 1 because it's going to ignore the decimal part. Suppose the result of division was 2.66, then a floor division will only give you the value 2. So apart from these simple arithmetic operators, we have also another interesting operator known as the exponent operator. Now, as the name suggests, exponent does nothing, but it raises the operand that it has on the left to the value of power to the right. So you have 5 raised to the power of 3. That means 5 into 5 into 5. That is 125. Now if there was 2 raised to the power 3, it would have been 2 into 2 into 2, and that would have been 8. So these were the arithmetic operators in Python. The next set of operators that come into picture are comparison operators. Now why you would need comparison operators? As the name suggests again, they are used for comparing quantities or values. Let's have some examples. Suppose you have two variables x and y, and the value of x is 3 and the value of y is 5, and you want to say x is less than y or not. That is where the comparison operator less than comes into picture. So you just write this code, x less than y, and the Python will give you an output of true or false depending on whether this comparison is true or false. So in this case, because the value of x was 3, which is actually less than 5, we got a true. Similarly, if we change the value of x to 17, which is actually greater than 5, you should get a false. If you write x is less than y, x having the value of 17, then the result is going to be false. So apart from this less than and comparison operator, we have multiple operators like less than or equal to or equal to. So equal to operator basically checks whether these two variables have the same value or not. We also have other comparison operators like greater than equal to, or even not equal to, and which tests whether x is not equal to y or not. So these were the comparison operators. The next type of operators are logical operators. There are three major kinds of logical operators in Python: the AND operator, the OR operator, the NOT operator. Let's see how they work. So first of all, the property of the AND operator is it only returns true if both comparisons are true. Suppose you have two variables x and y, and the value of x is 3 and the value of y is 7. The first comparison is x less than 5, so 3 is less than 5, which is true. And the second comparison is y greater than 8. 7 is not greater than 8, So therefore the result is false. So we actually have the result of first comparison is true and the result of second comparison is false. When we use the AND operator between them, we get a false because it only returns true if both of the comparisons are true. Now here comes another operator, which is the OR operator. This operator works kind of opposite to how AND operator works because it turns true if even one of the comparisons are true. So this is the same comparison and we get the same true or false. And in this case, we actually get a true because out of these two comparisons, the first one was actually true. Now, apart from these two logical operators, AND or, you have another logical operator known as NOT. This basically flips the result of the comparison. Suppose you get a true as a result of comparison and it converts it to false and vice versa. So in this case, x is less than 5, 3 is less than 5, which is true. And we say not of true with the not operator. So this basically gives an output of false. Now, you must have already realized that these logical operators are very useful because they help you implement logic in Python code. And they also use comparison operators to create such logic. So these are the different kinds of operators that we learned about Python. The first one was arithmetic operators. It had operators related to mathematical tasks. Then we have the comparison and logical operators. These are used for different tasks, like comparison can be used for mathematical, and then comparison and logical combined together can also be used for logical tasks. So these are the operators in Python. Let's go to the next video where we will actually implement this in code and see how they work. Thank you.